this.
Do
y'all need to start? Wait, do we need to explain Gauntlet to anyone again?
I think we might need to explain you guys might need to explain the topic, because I know that I wanted to do Venezuela because I had no idea what UBI was about.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait.
So
Never mind.
Oh, Ishan, you came.
Wait, then they should not do a foreign policy one and do like a domestic one, like nuclear reactors or something.
Ew, that one's gross.
But nuclear reactors is like.
Because it's really hard to do a gauntlet when you don't know what the topic is about.
Yeah.
I think that's the point of a gauntlet.
Yeah, that is also kind of the point, is to like strategize on making analytic responses. Because even if you don't have topic knowledge, you can still like point out how something is like a logical fallacy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, well, when you like base it, I mean, I don't research this stuff unless it's a topic, and then I actually research it. But it's like for UBI, I know what it is, and I know like how it works. But it was really rough for me. Hey, Suba. To find the talky points about it.
Oh, UBI.
I have a thing. I think Gauntlet is really hard because oftentimes it looks like compiling blocks and running the best rebuttal. But you know what else is a way to do logical fallacy rebuttals? You read Trump tweets and then you have them try and respond. Okay, and we just cold call people and ask them to rebut the Trump tweet. Because I feel like no matter what topic we do,
you like
reactors,
garbage
Venezuela,
most of the time, though.
It's so hard.
That's not really a challenge.
Trump tweets? Bro, do you want me to challenge you first?
I think I don't know. I think that like Gauntlet can go both ways, right? It can be a useful thing for planning how to like respond, or like doing your time allocation for if you had prepared responses, like learning how to sort through responses faster to be able to like create the best possible version of a rebuttal doc. But it's also good for analytic responses if you just are like willing to take on a topic that you might not know anything about. But like Trump tweets are like definitely easier to respond to and point out logical fallacies in than like a case that some debater wrote that is like supposed to sound at least, you know, somewhat sophisticated.
I think last time I didn't really give you guys enough time though. Like,
I don't know. I just didn't really know anything about UBI, and then it's like
I just think any good case is gonna be authoritative and sound like it's the complete truth, and you have no idea unless you know the topic. Especially
like that
policy.
Case that I read you guys was like absolute bullshit, right?
But no one knows. No one knows. We had to read like easy hangable fruit.
I actually wrote front lines to the responses that you read.
How did you even respond?
You know what? I'm gonna try. I want to do a Trump tweet just so I can like mess with this Vishnu kid who told me that it would be easy.
You kick Cox, right? Like. Cox is just undeniably bad evidence.
Yeah.
But then you're like, the next recession will be like a growth recession, right? God. Like that thing. And then you say that all of the links are individual reasons why the recession would be worse, allowing us to access to point B, which is like still 150 million in poverty.
But what do you even access in subpoint B? There's nothing there.
And like automatic stabilizers, the response isn't that good because it's like, the UBI literally, like, if 88% of it is going to be saved, and 100% of welfare is going to be...
No, but, okay, yeah, that response is kind of bad, but the other responses are, like, good enough, because automatic stabilizers actually don't, like, come from means-tested welfare at all.
I've got the first challenge. Vishnu, I expect the perfect response to this tweet.
Wait, what did I say?
The concept of global warming was created by and for the Chinese in order to make the U.S. manufacturing non-competitive.
Wait, what did I even say to make you have a grudge against me? Wait, I'm actually this.
Weren't you the one that was like, that's too easy to respond to Trump tweets?
No.
Wait, who was that kid?
That was Jerry.
Okay, Jerry, you're up.
Well, okay, so first of all, I never said it was easy. I said it was markedly easier.
Sorry, are you
Jerry, can you respond to it?
Sure, all right.
No, we need a response.
There we go.
Okay, I'm looking through this. Okay, first of all,
Persuasive, I know.
All right. First of all, I believe that global warming was probably not I'm pretty sure that China wasn't like the first country to like bring it up. I believe it was some other country, so it's kind of BS. Well, it's not like U.S. manufacturing is not competitive, anyways. So.
Is that all?
Still looking. Still trying to find something. I mean, those two basically one kind of solves the first half, and the other kind of does the second half. So I mean,
Jerry, my guy, we talked about the strategy dumping, right? I feel like you could dump a fat one on Trump's face here. Give me as many dumps as possible. No pressure, though.
Wait, why is it? Wait. The thing is that like nobody even really complains about the Chinese. It's not even like the Chinese that are complaining. It's the U.S. Like mostly people are complaining about countries other than China. So I mean, I don't see why he would say it's for the Chinese in order to make
he complains about China all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, but the thing is, like, people don't really blame China for global warming. They usually blame the U.S. I mean,
they usually blame China.
They usually blame China. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's well then. Wait.
It's terrifying. Trump is an intellectual. I know.
Wait, here, I got
All right,
another
well,
one.
The thing I can give you for sure is that like this global warming thing was not created by China. So that part's just kind of done. And
but why?
Well, let's see here. I'm not completely sure about this, but all I know is that I believe that China did not invent the concept of global warming. I believe it was some Western country. So I mean, so the fact that Trump says it was created by China, right? So I mean, that's not exactly true. So even if it was created by some other country.
Well, I guess you could say you could rebut this statement by parts. So you can first debunk the part that says the concept was global warming was created in order to make U.S. manufacturing non-competitive. You can say there are literally hundreds of thousands of papers by the top best scholarly institutions and research facilities in the world that show a clear trend to end global warming, then provide some data values, etc. And then you can say the Chinese don't have much incentive to make United States manufacturing non-competitive when they already have one of the best economies and GDPs in the world, and they already help. So they also make up the brunt of U.S. manufacturing. So, and third, you can debunk the fact that it has 81,803 retweets, because these numbers are not representative of the entire population, and as such, these numbers should not be trusted. Because unfortunately, although most of the people who read Trump's tweets and retweet it are the people who believe in such concepts, and ultimately,
I like how there's more retweets than likes.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that there's more retweets than likes means that people know he's a clown and they don't actually approve of what his message is.
Yeah, there's almost double.
Yeah, it's stupid. So these are pretty good responses from both of you. I'm seeing semblances of the beginnings of logical responses. I would say that a lot of the approaches you're taking is correct. I liked how it was Vishnu, who was the second guy. Was yeah, there's other independent sources outside of China. That's definitely a response. You can talk about how there's historical data about global warming before even China had its communist revolution. Since the Industrial Revolution, we've seen global warming happen. A. B, you could talk about China's incentive. Think about the position of China. Well, why would China want to have this concept of of global warming to make US manufacturing non-competitive when China has more anti-global warming initiatives and has taken more action than the US itself, but is still on top of like the US in like manufacturing. There's clearly not a correlation between global warming action and then manufacturing competitiveness. And like the point is, you can ramble on and on and on about like different issues or logical flaws in the way Donald J. Trump thinks. And I'm not saying that, you know, if you're a Republican, I'm not saying that all Republican ideologies are false. I'm just saying a lot of the things he does say are very wrong. So you should be able to point those out. So let me give you another completely easier one. Okay. Can you tell me what the issue is with this tweet? Let's hear from some new people.
I guess you can debunk this because
cherry picking.
Yeah, and also you can I guess
the concept behind global warming is that the temperatures are more extreme, but we should debate like the things behind it, not just the tweet.
Or just
like the what's it called, laws or whatever he makes that support his tweets and why he tweets them in the first place.
I also like how this one has more retweets than likes.
It's better than the last one, that's for sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, also there's only 358 likes, which means
that is not the central focus of this tweet.
Yeah, no one likes it.
Another thing, I feel like this is a kind of a D-link, or maybe yeah, because the thing is global warming
is good.
What?
Never mind.
I mean, global warming is just like a part of climate change, and climate change is like, as like either Kathy or Siwa said, I don't remember, like resulting in more extreme temperatures, and also setting freezing temperatures. Well, again, the temperatures vary year by year. Like, he's just looking at one small section of data, not the general trend.
Okay, let me give you.
You could also turn this.
Let me give you a front line and see how you guys respond. Okay, first front line. You guys tell me that global warming is actually the weather becoming more and more extreme. But you look at the words themselves, right? It says global and it says warming. If it's getting colder and colder in Texas and Louisiana, clearly the globe is not warming. It would be global cooling. So global warming, which is what these Chinese people are perpetuating, clearly is not happening. It would be global cooling instead, in which case we wouldn't care about CO2 or whatever it is. So you, set your narrative right. Is it global warming or is it like extreme weather changes? Also, second, you tell me that like it's this like broad trend of becoming warmer and warmer. But if that's true, then why are we seeing new freezing temperatures on these days? Because clearly, if Texas and Louisiana, two different states, by the way, and also New York in 2016 also had record cold temperatures, tell me why the US isn't trending that way. Go.
Well, apologies to Texans, but unfortunately Texas and like Louisiana are not the entire world, so you can't really compare this to the entire world. So there's that. And and New York is like tiny, so you can't really use that as like an extra buffer to your the what you call it, the cherry picking fallacy. So there's that.
All right, Jerry. Let's say you could have one piece of evidence in the entire world that would be perfect to respond to this tweet. What would that piece of evidence be?
Wait, wasn't Bangladesh like flooding because of global warming? So I'd probably want a card on that for sure.
Okay, if you could make up a card right now, what would the perfect card be to respond to this tweet? Anyone, actually, not just Jerry. Anyone.
Ancient violent. Okay, wait. So MIT records have shown that for the past 100 years. No, wait, I could probably say something about how Texas and Louisiana are in the same region of the world and have similar climates, but those climates differ from other regions of the world. And I could probably have a piece of evidence saying, well, first of all, his point about global warming is expensive doesn't make sense. Like, how does the fact that snowing?
Wait, let's not stray from the question prompt. If we have one perfect piece of evidence, that
a perfect piece of evidence would be like
the
average like year-round climate of like Texas in like 1900 to like present day, and it shows that Texas is now much warmer than it was in like the 1900s. I'll be like,
this is not the perfect piece of evidence. What would the perfect piece of evidence be here?
The temperatures aren't actually record setting.
No, let's say the record setting is true. What would the perfect evidence be to respond to this? 3, 2, 1. Okay, the perfect piece of evidence would be what your rebuttals were basically before. That there's a broad general trend across the entire world that shows that global warming is happening over like multiple years. And whoever threw out the name MIT, yeah, sure, name drop a big university. And also, it would be great if that card also had something like, hey, record-setting temperatures may happen, but they're outliers, and they decrease year over year. So examples such as Texas and Louisiana will happen less and less as time goes on because of global warming, or something like that.
Wait, I also would add that another good piece of evidence would basically be like the NASA page for climate change, which automatically responds to arguments like this, and also makes a broader analysis that global warming is like an old term that was originally assigned to the concept of like environmental changes. And climate change was adapted as a replacement because they realized that global warming isn't an accurate term for the change that's being undergone. And I think that kind of like accurately responds to the like, fallacy within the logic in that tweet, which is that you take the term global warming quite literally.
Yeah, and also like the concept of global warming is less like temperatures are going up, but more so like temperatures are becoming more extreme. So I think like this would be an example of the climate becoming more extreme, which is in reality what's actually happening. Like hotter areas are becoming hotter, some areas are becoming colder. In general, things are becoming hotter. You should check his actual Twitter.
His current Twitter is a nightmare. I really don't want to see it.
No, I found some.
Like
some
over the
goals.
years, Trump has
Also,
like gotten more and more senile.
He's like actually psychotic. I don't get why he has a chance of winning.
People like psychos apparently. Jesus.
Wait, this one's pretty amazing. Why does the lamestream fake news media refuse to say that China virus deaths are down 39%, and now we have the lowest mortality rate in the world? They just can't stand that we're doing so well for our country.
Trump, China, coronavirus tweet.
Corrupt Joe Biden and the Democrats don't want to open schools in the fall for political reasons, not for health reasons. They think it will get them in November. No, wrong. The people get it.
What? Wait. Read the beginning of the tweet again.
Corrupt Joe Biden and the Democrats don't want to open schools in the fall for political reasons, not for health reasons.
Okay.
They think it will get them in November.
Right, I remember this one. Goody. Here we go. Good luck, y'all. Open image in new tab. It's not the tab I want to delete. This is. Go.
Well, I mean, for one, this is not an all-partisan view. This is like a one-partisan view, and in general, we have to consider all points of view, and he's only looking from his point of view. Second of all, he doesn't have any proof that they're opening schools for political reasons. He's just saying that they're opening schools for political reasons, and then he said they think it will help them in November. Again, there's like no evidence, and you can actually cite some cards saying that like the closing of schools and the introduction of remote learning, like A, prevents the spread of the virus, and B, actually increases the efficacy of learning in general. And then he also doesn't have any evidence that the people get it. And basically,
he doesn't have a single piece of evidence.
Yeah.
Okay, no one's gonna tag their evidence in the Trump tweet. Okay.
Just say that going to school is gonna make the cases go up.
No, he's saying like.
He's saying like the Democrats like don't want to open schools because of political reasons, not like for the safety of the people.
Vishnu said something about like cases are gonna go up if we're in school. Yeah,
No.
I was gonna say there's actually evidence out there that shows that like cases rise more in school because all the people like get together and everything, and in school there's at least protective measures for like the majority of the day.
Aye, ding ding. The easiest response here is no, it is not for political reasons. It is for scientific and health reasons.
Doesn't the Trump administration want to open schools in the fall though?
Yeah, they do because they're like coronavirus. 0.03% chance to die or some fake made up number. They're like,
no, but that's the thing, right? Like evidence shows that if you're out of school, then you have it like the rate of spreading is actually higher than if you're in school.
Yeah, that's backing Trump here. That's not exactly responding to the tweet.
Hey, I'm refuting the refutation.
You know what? I'm proud of you.
Front lines.
I'm proud of you. You know, you're one step ahead of us.
Wait, but like, how does the evidence even make sense?
It's like the thing.
No,
of, like,
I'm just like so confused as to.
No,
like,
that doesn't make sense. Like in a timeline, right? Like we closed schools before the virus was spreading very far as a preemptive measure to prevent spread. So of course, after we closed like schools, it was spreading more, even with social distancing, because more people.
No, I don't know if
had
we're
symptoms.
Like, based on what happened after we closed schools in like March or whenever we closed schools or something like that. But I just know that there's like this site out there that's saying this one study shows la-di-da-di-do.
Yeah, any study can be like, yo, if the kids aren't in school, they're meeting up. That's like the public health thing that they announced before they closed schools, where they were like, if they don't meet at school, they meet outside of school and just have a good old time and spread it in another way.
Yeah, CNN and all the liberal news are fake news. Don't listen to them. Like,
are we gonna do like the rebuttal gauntlet thingy, Mabob?
Oh, Venezuela.
Yeah, are we?
I mean,
if we do, then it's like kind of late.
I have to leave at 4:35, so.
And we're also supposed to meet with those kids, like in individual rooms or something.
Oh, that, yes.
Wait, how do you? Oh, okay. We haven't got the assignments yet, right?
Oh, I can read them out if you want.
Oh, yeah, that would be helpful. I don't know who.
Wait, we have assigned. Oh.
No, like to a person. I get Kathy. Suba, you get Robert. Juliana gets Evan. Daniel gets Sabine. Daniel isn't even here, right? Troy gets Harbin. He's not here either. Natalie gets
Troy. Thing is, Troy and I will both have to leave at like 4:35. So.
Is Troy here?
Wait, don't I have Troy and Jerry or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get Jerry too. Troy and Jerry. Natalie gets Ishan.
I get to leave early.
Lyndon gets Ishan. I get Miles. Sabine gets Vishnu.
What are we doing with these kids individually?
I have no idea.
We're working on this topic.
What is this topic?
It's like urbanization in like West Africa or something.
We should have done the Medicare one, but.
Wait, can we switch the topic to
any topic other than this?
End first strike policy.
No, hard.
Anything other than this topic, I'm fine with, but just like not this one, please.
They can prep September for us, guys.
Yeah, please.
No, this is
October.
That makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
No. First of all, we are not making you do September because none of us are going to September tournaments, like preparing to get bids. Yeah, we can go. But like, we're not getting bids from September tournaments. Like the teams at September tournaments are crazy. They are crazy. Yeah. I'm so like.
Kept out.
Oh my god, they have like their 6 coaches, right? Like 12 cases.
Not September. I said that wrong. November.
Yeah, November is like decent.
No, but this is February has like a bigger turnaround.
Yeah. February has better.
Has the biggest you have less time to prep, so you might as well get them.
But we don't know the Feb topic, but we know the December topic.
No, like the Feb topic is pretty obviously like going to be the West Africa.
Wait, what's the other topic?
Like the other one does not. I don't think that they're gonna choose that one. If it does get chosen, then y'all can come.
But aren't those starter resolutions? Like they never used the starter resolutions last year.
Really?
Yeah, they like ditched them.
They're using them this year.
They ditched most of them.
I mean, at least they're using Medicare.
I mean, Medicare is like
they
decided.
have all the starter topics until like May or whatever. And last year, at least the one that I saw, it just went up to the next 2-3 months or something.
I mean, like, what tournaments are you going for in December?
Who knows? But we could just make them prep for us. I mean,
like,
sorry, we're gonna collaborate on whatever.
Around.
Yeah, collaborate.
Oh yeah, the other February topic is extensive rights to the use of the Nile River are harmful to African stability. Like, who's gonna vote for that topic?
No, because these starter resolutions get warped so bad. Like in the previous year, right? There was a topic that was on UBI, and like the 2 starter resolutions were like, the UBI should be a UBI of $15,000 a year shall be distributed to fight automation, and then it ended up being replacing welfare. The topics change so much, it's ridiculous. So,
right, but like the on balance one, like even if it doesn't change, I feel like it's a good enough background.
But they gave the options for November. Like we are guaranteed, and there's 2 not starter resolutions, but actually proposed resolutions, and one of them is just way worse than the other one.
Yeah, well.
Oh yeah, the like modernized one.
Yeah.
Wait, what are the starter resolutions? Did they release them?
The starter resolutions
yeah,
okay.
from a while ago.
They're on the website.
The November ones are there's 2 of them. One is the U.S. should end its first strike nuclear first strike like policy. And the second one was the U.S. should modernize its command controls or something.
Okay, yeah, wait. I feel like we could do November just because it seems fun.
It does.
Like no,
okay.
like I feel like foreign
what's
policy is kind of fun.
Okay,
November is
the U.S. should adopt a no first strike policy for nuclear weapons. Actually, if you guys like that topic more than the current topic, like raise your hand or something, and we can count.
Wait, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Let me try doing this. Okay.
Do the thing that like 1, 2, 3.
Is Lisa still like doing anything in these meetings, or is it just you guys?
I think that's a majority. Okay, we are switching the topic.
Bro, we didn't ask anyone else though. Like the first speakers just don't get a say.
Yeah.
Screw the first.
I'm a first speaker. That
okay,
somehow
good.
came in here. So
we got
I'll
one
speak on behalf of them.
Yes, Suba's the representative.
Yeah.
You just blame it on Suba if the first speakers don't agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, by popular vote, we are switching the topic. So, yeah.
Do we have to? Are we doing a tournament on any of these topics that we're doing?
I'm pretty sure Lisa wants to set up a topic at the end of the summer.
So we have to prep another topic too?
We don't have to prep sub-Saharan Africa anymore, probably, or West Africa.
Oh, okay. Darn, our like one meeting, Kathy, it's all gone to waste.
Did you guys like that topic?
It was.
Like, no, right?
It was okay.
It wasn't that bad. It's just like we're not going to use it for half a year, so.
And it might get changed.
Wait, what is the Medicare for all topic for then? I'm confused. Is it like
September?
September.
Oh,
Wait,
okay. So we're not doing anything on that then.
Why aren't we doing the September topic?
Because Washington doesn't do it.
The tournaments, the only tournaments you can go to during September are like national circuit tournaments, and because you have the whole summer to prep that topic, teams that have like a lot of access to coaching and like prep group materials, they just get like incredibly dense prep files, and then if you go into the tournament like without all of that, you are essentially screwed and guaranteed to not like do well at all.
Oh.
Basically, if you don't go to a multi-million private school, you will lose.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
I mean, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Okay. The United States should adopt a declaratory nuclear policy of no first use.
Also,
That's your new topic.
Does someone want to justify that?
Can someone type that in the chat?
Yeah, I put it in.
Oh, okay.
Wait, does someone want to justify that in like our middle school leadership chat so that I'm not? I like sent the thing and Karina just sent question marks and I refused to answer.
Hannah wants to.
Yeah.
Hannah, what are we even gonna do if we go to Yale? Just read the racial equity app and then never go neg.
Yeah. And like pretend that like infinite debt exists.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, wait, if we go neg, we can just read debt and then read theory.
You know how Nicole like puts the 3 like question marks? What the fuck?
Wait, is Nicole like who's leading the middle school stuff during the summer? I'm confused.
Us.
Question mark.
No,
There's no leader.
Nicole's
I don't know. We should ask our middle school debate coordinator, and then maybe they'll know.
Okay. I didn't even know we were having this during the summer. That was the problem. I think Nicole just wants my job. That's like. Okay.
Sean, what are you doing?
This should not be happening during the summer. Like everybody has
What do
Never
we
mind.
have?
Kids, can
What are
you
we
lower
doing?
your hands, please?
All right.
What's wrong with the hands?
Sorry.
What are you doing with your summer? That's so important.
actually my internship got canceled, so I don't have anything to do. But
Ishan,
Yeah,
I like your new hair.
what?
I like your new hair, Ishan.
I just didn't cut it. Okay. Hey,
Never cut it again.
yeah, I'll just never cut it again for Harvard. Okay, so
Are we
as
still
middle
going?
school coordinator, I approved the November resolution.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sean approved it.
Yeah. Why can't you just make it middle school head coach? That's what I don't get. Like, what are colleges gonna think when I put middle school coordinator on my thing? Like, they're gonna be like, "What the
Just
fuck is?"
change
this?
the name. They're not gonna know.
Yeah.
You can just make
Okay.
it up. They're not gonna know.
That's true. I feel like Lisa will specifically email the colleges I applied to and be like, "Psych, he's not actually."
Hey,
middle school head
juniors,
coach."
juniors, we're boring the middle schoolers. What are we supposed
My
to be
bad.
doing?
My bad.
Oh, I don't know. Are we supposed to go into the private sessions?
I
can
have to
talk
go.
about
Can
topic.
anybody?
If we're not doing the West Africa topic, then what
Then
are
it
we
doesn't
supposed
really-
to talk
yeah.
about, right?
I guess what they were trying to do was split it so that people have like more one-on-one time if they have specific questions. But I don't think that like there's so few people in this meeting anyway that I don't think that's like.
Yeah, I think it's fine now. Wait. So the topic is about first strike.
So the idea is that like right now the U.S. doesn't have this policy, but the policy would just say that like we won't ever use our nuclear weapons first, like to attack anyone. We would only use them if we were provoked or like someone used nuclear weapons against us. That's like all the policy's saying. So the question is just like whether or not like we should adopt that.
All right.
So I'm guessing probably some of the con arguments or stuff about like nuclear umbrellas or whatever.
I'm just gonna read this whole topic. I'm just gonna read that evidence Tanush has that's like nuclear winter is KGB propaganda.
Wait, Sabine, does it count like we can't nuke a country if they specifically don't nuke us first?
I don't know. I think so.
So it's like if someone nukes like if North Korea like nukes South Korea, we can't like nuke them back.
I don't know if it extends through alliances. Actually, that is a good question.
Wait.
But I feel like
first strike.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good con argument if it does work that way, because like then you don't really prevent conflict. You just cause conflict to happen to weaker nations, and the U.S. can't retaliate if it did work that way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could like just use another form of like conventional weaponry.
Yeah, isn't there some like long range conventional weaponry that works really well? That like like subatomic weapons.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I have to go. As no one's gonna write like a written complaint to Lisa or something, right? Like,
no.
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is Lisa still doing this thing? Is she like?
Yeah,
No.
she's still here. Oh.
I don't know. Where is Lisa? What's Lisa doing?
She changed her profile picture again.
What is it now?
She has like 73
It's
million.
still the Yoda.
Oh, it's the Yoda.
73 million what?
Facebook things. She has like so
You
many.
have a Facebook, Kathy?
I do have a Facebook. I
Wait,
know.
you do?
I do, yeah.
I have Messenger. I just don't use it. Enlightening, I know.
It is still the baby Yoda with the driving a car.
Yeah, what is that Yoda doing?
Oh, okay. So we're gonna be prepping for this topic now.
Yeah, I think it sounds pretty fun.
It sounds better than the other one.
What's the topic? Nukes?
It's in
No
the chat.
first strike. No first strike or something. Like, we can't nuke someone first if they didn't nuke us first.
Wait. I feel like if it doesn't extend to alliances, then I feel like a really good.
It does
Yeah,
extend to alliances.
Oh, it does.
Just found out.
Wait, that means the con loses so much ground.
Yeah, like what is the con supposed to say? Like,
Or would we like nuke the
I think
asteroid?
what it
defending
is-
forward.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like deterrence, right? Deterrence is literally going to be an argument.
No, but we
Again.
already have deterrence, right? Like the
Yeah.
whole reason why we have deterrence is because like we have second strike capabilities.
No, because the whole idea behind first use is that if you have a better nuclear arsenal than they do, you can destroy their capability to nuke you in the first place before they can nuke you.
Wait,
I'm pretty sure like alliances
Like
constitutes a
MAD,
second strike, right?
MAD is not a completely invulnerable concept.
No,
You can
but like
nuke them
second
before they
strike
can nuke you.
happens through like alliances. Like for example, like Britain has nukes, right? So if someone
Yeah.
nuked the U.S., then Britain would nuke them. Like that kind
and
of
we
thing.
could nuke them too, though. Like, wait.
There's
My
MAD
question is
responses
like,
though.
my question
Wait, I
is
thought
like,
all our nukes were in the Pentagon.
what
No,
kind of
they're like
what?
in Nebraska.
Yeah. Wait, what is our like system? Like, wait, you remember the THAAD topic, the thing about like South Korea like having
The nuclear football. They like
yeah, wait,
like,
what's the system? What's the system that we use to like if a nuclear weapon is deployed, what do we do?
we launch a nuke at it and then
Yeah. So if we does that mean that we can't launch a nuke at it?
wait, we have radar,
Until it
right? Like I
hits us?
remember like Milburn said like we had really cool lasers that we could
Yeah.
like shoot.
Wait, so like is it as soon as like they deploy a weapon, then after that point in time we can launch a weapon, or is it like the weapon has to hit us first and then we can launch a nuclear weapon?
I'm not actually
How do
sure.
they know if they deployed a weapon? Like, do they get
Oh,
an
They
email?
just no, like it's
It's
like the
like-
laser thing, right? They like have
Tactical
radar.
missile
It's radar.
incoming.
Wait, let me read this.
Harvin, I have to say it. Your room looks like one of those Pinterest rooms where they're like,
I don't want to hear it. I don't
Decorate
want to hear it.
No,
Kathy, I
Harvin,
don't want
wait.
to hear it.
Harvin, the H in the background, it gives me the exact same vibes as like what was that school?
Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler.
I don't know who Tyler
There's some
is.
school.
you know North Broward? Like
Oh
for
yeah, it's North Broward.
for TOC, right? In their room, like Tyler, he just has his name on the wall. It's just
And it's
Tyler.
like in all caps, these huge black letters, and it's just Tyler.
It's
And it's like
powerful.
above his closet. It doesn't even make sense.
Dude, it's a power move, you know? All caps your name. Maybe you should invest in a capital H instead of a lowercase h.
Oh my god.
Okay, we have a system, but experts don't believe that it could reliably protect Americans against a nuclear attack.
That's encouraging.
We don't have a missile shield.
Oh, yeah, okay. It was like. Yeah, you literally just fire your own missiles to like stop the
Yeah.
nuclear weapon. You just fire more things at it and then hope it goes off somewhere that like won't hurt anyone. Wait, could you read
Yeah.
some disad that's like climate change? Like you release a bunch of radiation into the ocean because it like
Wait, how do
detonates over the
disads work?
ocean.
Like,
Stats, you just read them at the top or the bottom of their case, and you
It's
go
like a new
like,
convention, but like
Yeah.
it has
Yeah.
implications on their case.
So, for example, for
Oh.
Venezuela, I would read a disad every single rebuttal when I'm on pro, saying, okay, you tell me you get to kick Maduro out. Well, there's this unintended consequence that's like you cause a civil war, and then I basically read a contention about civil war, which is kind of
So it's like
kinda
one
like
of the implications of their case, and then you're like,
actually, I guess that's kind of an internal link term, so that's not a really good example of a disad.
So yeah, for Feb, I would read like housing prices would go up if the UBI was passed.
Oh yeah,
That
the
would be,
like
a
offensive
disadvantage.
overview.
And then that would be like defense on their case, because like their whole like spiel is like UBI gives you more than welfare, and I would say, but if rent prices increase, then no, it does not give you more than welfare.
I think like the easiest way to read a disad and not have it sound like you're just reading a new contention is to read it as an overview, which is kind of abusive.
No,
but you read it.
No.
The reason is because you're like when you implicate it on their case, and you're like, this turns whatever impact.
What's an overview?
Yeah, what's an overview?
See, okay, this is where philosophies divide, okay? I think an overview...
because underviews are way more abusive. To read an underview is way worse.
Okay, if you read an underview, you're just stupid. Okay, overviews or underviews are things you read at the top of their case or at the bottom of their case. Typically, you would read overviews at the beginning of your rebuttal, and some of them run underviews either at the beginning or the end of the rebuttal, whatever it is. I believe the only way you run an overview or an underview...
What do they want when they're reading? Yeah. What do they read?
Okay, so mostly overviews are supposed to be
I was in the middle of my monologue. Can you please?
No, you have to know what they are.
I'm explaining it. Oh my god!
You're saying why they're bad.
No. Okay. Why underviews are bad?
Okay, we don't talk about underviews. Just go to your overview.
Overviews. I personally believe the only way.
No, he's gonna tell you how he thinks they should be, and that's what he thinks they should be.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that overviews are only properly read if they act as weighing overviews. So if you go like, hey, my case, okay. So that'd be like, my case is going to, or we win this debate because of some overarching implication or some overarching reason why you're going to always outweigh the neg. So you could be like, we win on probability and magnitude, or we win on risk of solvency and time frame. So you would read like those weighing mechanisms at the top, and you would read that overview at the top of your summary and your final focus, and you have this really clean narrative on why you win the debate consistently throughout all of your speeches. Some people read overviews as disads, pretty much, or they go like, overview, there's this completely other argument that kills their case or that makes us win. So some people, for like the November topic, read an overview on like quantum computers, and they were like, quantum computers will exist, which will make it easy for everyone to hack everyone, which is terminal defense because any country can hack any country at any point ever in the future. So the only side that matters is not attacking right now until quantum computers are developed. And it was like this completely new link chain, completely new infrastructure to like win the debate. And I think that's a disad.
I think overviews that are, so there's like defensive and offensive overviews. I think in general, any offensive overview that's not just weighing is like pretty abusive, because you essentially just have the ability to read like a disad, like Harvin said, and then like just throw it on their case and like tack on all these extra things, but you like don't even have to really implicate it. You barely say anything on like the actual line by line level, and so it's really like unfair in terms of a time skew towards the other team. But I also think that offensive overviews when you're first speaking are really helpful, because then in summary you can essentially just like take, if they don't respond to it properly, you just like take that, and you don't even have to you don't have to extend your other responses. You just like extend that thing, and you're like, yeah, their case kind of sucks.
I will note a lot of judges write expressly in their paradigms, as do I, not to run an offensive overview. And I think the moment you say in your final focus, we win because they never respond to the impact in our overview, something is wrong, because there shouldn't be an impact in your overview, because it's not its own argument. But anyway.
But it can be.
Oh.
Yeah, so at Alta, like, one of the judges like interpreted overview as like framing, right? Like if you talk about something in your overview, you point to that as like the most important thing to evaluate in that round, right? I think it was the one with the Great Wall, the Great Firewall. Yeah. So yeah, like there's that interpretation too about like whatever is in your overview should be how you like see the round, like define the round as.
But
like
anyway,
if you talk about innovation in your overview, like innovation is the most important thing.
I think like the takeaway from this should be that some people will read disads as overviews, as like a way to kind of just spit out information that they hope will help them win the round. But you shouldn't do that, even though it's fun. You shouldn't do it. You should just read disads like on a contention somewhere, or like at the bottom of their case or something, and just be like, here's a thing and it exists, and then try and like attach it to one of their arguments in some way to be like, this takes out this thing, or like this is more important or something.
Wait, you
So disads are
something coming off of your like whatever argument that connects to one of their other arguments, and it's like,
so a disad is like a disadvantage, right? It's like short for disadvantage.
okay.
So usually any single neg argument is a disadvantage to doing the ask. So basically your whole neg case is a disadvantage, right? So if you read a disad in rebuttal, that would be like something that is a disadvantage to the ask that you read, right? Like anything that is bad about doing the ask is a disad. So, but usually like if they're related, we just call those turns, right?
Yeah.
So,
it's not like
are like kind of unrelated to what they're talking about, but like have an implication like on their impact usually.
So a turn
would like climate change makes global warming happen, and you're like, wait, no.
You could read like oil prices are increasing, and like you could read some economic recession thing and then be like, recession turns like climate change, because in times of recession less people care about climate change. And so in that way you link into their argument, but you don't actually take anything in their argument and turn it. So a turn, you have two types of turns, right? A link turn or an impact turn. If you link turn something, then you take their link evidence and say, no, the opposite is true, and then you implicate like, because the opposite is true, you don't buy their impact, you buy a different impact. Or if you take an impact turn, then you take their impact evidence and say, no, this impact that they're saying is bad is actually good, and then you read a bunch of reasons why it's good. But if you read a disad, then you read something that is totally unrelated, and then you implicate how that matters in terms of their argument. So for example, the recession thing, right? Like recession isn't related to their climate change argument, but when you say recession leads to like less caring about climate change, then you can like link into their case in a separate way.
Okay, so you basically say that like some part of their argument causes this other impact to happen, and then you like impact weigh their impact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you can bring up something totally unrelated to their argument. You can just be like, this other thing is happening and it's going to short circuit like their case. Like it's going to happen before their case happens and make all their impacts non-unique or something like that.
Even if it has nothing to do with the argument?
Yeah, you could just be like, hey, here's another totally separate thing, but it's got a big impact, so it outweighs them, but it's like completely random.
You can literally just do that.
Yeah, like I mean, they would.
Wait, but
not fair.
if you say this and you're in second rebuttal, don't they have nothing? They have no speech to respond to it, right?
This is why a lot of judges tell you, don't read disads in second rebuttal. I won't count it.
And also a lot of judges are against, like, there's theory against, like, disad dumping, which is in first rebuttal reading, like, 12 disads and nothing that's directly responsive to the case. Because in that sense, you're literally just reading, like, a second case, and they don't really have time to respond to it.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's more abusive to read disads in first rebuttal instead of second rebuttal, because for second rebuttal, you're already scrunched for time, right? So reading a disad has a trade-off with actually responding to their case or frontlining. So you get a weaker speech on either defense or offense, right? But in first rebuttal, like you can dump and have time to read disads because you just have a lot of time.
So disads are as long as like a contention would be, right?
No, they can
not
be
necessarily.
shorter.
It can just be
okay.
one card.
Concise,
Okay.
Yeah, usually like a lot of the disads that I've read are like 3 cards, like they're really short. You have some that are really intense that are like super long, especially if you get a disad from like policy or something. They're going to be super long because they actually like spread in their speeches, and so they read lots of evidence. But if you were just reading like a random disad, you could probably pull it off with like 1 or 2 cards.
Do you guys have like disads in your block files and you're like, oh, instead of this argument, let me read a disad?
A lot of times we have like contentions that we got too lazy to like actually fully write out that we like turn into disads.
Yeah, like most of my contentions start off as disads.
Sometimes
like-
I would just like run stock arguments that I felt were too easy to refute in rebuttal. So for example, for December, which was OCOs, I just ran deterrence as a disad every single debate. And I'll just use stock because it made sense and it was easy to explain. And it worked as a strong disad.
Yeah.
So, do you usually read disads at like the top? I mean, at the beginning of the rebuttal, and then go on to? Oh wait, no, it's just like responsive to a specific argument, and then you're just like.
I mean, I think you can
disad
frame
on
it
that
like
argument.
if you read it at the top, you could just frame it as being responsive to the app in general by saying like this responds to their entire case. But in reality, it's just a normal.
I do that.
Yeah, but then
some
you
general
would
responses
stick
to
it
the
at
app on the top, they don't account for this other thing that's very bad.
Yeah. And also like it doesn't really matter, right? Like if you think about it, like just think of disads as just like what its name means, right? Like it's a disadvantage of doing the app. So anything that's bad about the app world is going to be a disad. It doesn't really matter like how many cards it is or like where it is in the speech. Like anything that's bad about the app is just automatically a disad. In your net case is
a buff rebuttal point.
Hmm?
It's just like a buff rebuttal point with like turns.
It's like something
it's a
you
very
would put
well
in your case.
implicated rebuttal argument.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be cheeky with disads. You can pretend they're turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's what most people do. They just like say that it's a turn, but it's like not a turn.
Like a lot of the turns are really bad because they like have the same impact. So that's why people say it's a turn. Like they have a specific link as to why like African Americans lose jobs, but we have a disad talking about how African Americans will gain jobs. I mean, that's like an advantage. But like the whole point is like people will read turns and pretend that they're like people read disads and like pretend they're turns, but in reality they neither turn the link nor the impact, so they aren't real turns. They just like
they just
are
like
disads.
have they just like they turn like the implication, but they're not really turns.
Yeah, or like
they're really like uniqueness turns, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like in the example she gives of like job or like unemployment increases for like Black households. If you read counter evidence, it's like, oh, something happens in this world that causes unemployment to decrease, then you're just attacking like the uniqueness of their argument.
But that's just like a disad, and you like stick it in as a turn.
It like functions as a, I don't know, it's wacky. Yeah, someone read that in one of my rounds at Nats. They just said like, oh, like teacher turnover is worse in charter schools, so like then turn their impact or whatever. And I was like, that's not a turn, but okay.
Speaking of turns and disads, something that I've always wanted to pull off at local tournaments, and I never got around to do so because I was lazy, was prepare a rebuttal that would be straight turns. So you guys might have, if you guys remember the part where I talked about how you can concede the D-link, that's only if you read a D-link to their case. So for example, if you read your rebuttal and it's only turns, then they have to respond to every single argument. So imagine first rebuttal, you read like 9 turns. Second rebuttal is going to live in hell because they're trying to respond to all of them in 4 minutes and attack your case at the same time. So that's kind of the idea behind straight turns. You just need to have enough turns for it to be annoying. And that's a really, really powerful strategy if you are able to prep enough to get all those turns on whatever stock.
You should watch the TOC round for Westlake versus Miraloma, because Jason, he reads like 10 turns total on their entire case, but he like reads straight turns on their first 2 contentions.
Jason?
Jason.
So you should like try to turn as much in rebuttal if you're first, so you can make the other person's life harder.
You want to
and you also have to like beware, because like if you turn the link, then you turn the impact, and you're like,
yeah, then you like but just be careful when you're layering responses in that way. So don't waste your time, basically. Don't read like 3 D-links and read a turn, because they'll just concede one of the D-links and then your turn wasn't worth reading. So it's usually best to just read like straight turns if you're actually going to go for the turns, or to read non-uniques and turns if you think that you might not be able to implicate the turn enough to actually like win off of it.
I think a really good video that's for analysis in this is around between Plano West and Polyprep FK. What happens is basically Plano West reads this argument. It's from the U.S. debt topic, and it's basically like about foreign aid. And there's this massive number they put on, like 140 million lives or something. But it's like a 1-minute contention. And then their second contention is a really long one that's like 400,000 jobs or something. And it's like 3 minutes long. What Polyprep FK does is they straight turn the first contention, which makes them focus on this really weak 1-minute contention with a massive impact, and they have to respond to it no matter what. And then he dumps like some stuff on just like really weak D-links on the second contention about infrastructure. And what happens? It pulls all the debate to both Polyprep's case and to their first contention, which was really weak about foreign aid. And like I think Polyprep ends up winning that round, but I think it does a really good job of showing like, you know, what does straight turning look like? What does grouping up responses and then trying to respond to everything in second rebuttal look like? If we were doing video analysis, that would be the one that I would want to analyze here.
I think when you notice that a team is reading a time suck, so a contention that's really short but has like some kind of a big impact, it's not something that they would necessarily go for. It's something that they want you to read a lot of responses to so that you waste your time on it. If you notice a team that it has a contention like that, it's usually something that's like super stock, and it's usually the first contention that they read in their case. The ultimate strategy is to either spend as little time as possible on it or to read a lot of turns on it, because if you read a lot of turns, it forces them to spend more time on it, and you have the advantage there, because they probably don't have a strategy to like seriously collapse on that argument. Especially if your turns are really like good evidence, then you probably have like a stronger chance of winning the argument.
We should do a video analysis next week, like a round analysis. Also, it's like 5.
Oh yeah.
5.
Can I go? Yeah. All right. See y'all.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too.